Welcome to Lift Your Leg. This is Monique Anstey from the Naughty Dog in Victoria, BC, author of As a Dog Thinketh.
And Jill Brown from Calgary, Alberta, the bag lady.
Tonight, hopefully, my Wi-Fi will behave so it doesn't cut us off at half an hour. Our topic is, if you want to do it, you will find a way. And if you don't, you will find an excuse. And this comes from Clinton Anderson, a horse guy. And he's so right. Like, things aren't handed to us on a silver platter. It's up to us to go hunt it out and make it happen and find a way.
And that's not always the easiest thing to do, but 9 times out of 10, you can figure out a way to do it.
And some of those ways, you got to get mighty creative. So this week I was schooled in our podcast of a couple of weeks ago on we were talking about games and being more fun with your dog and about how not everyone is able to roll around on the floor. And this person was 100% correct. She's right. Like, it's right. You can't. Not everyone can. Not everyone is able. But everyone can throw a cookie at their dog's head and then clap their hands above their head and cheer, right? We can all find a way if we want to do it. There was one bravery seminar I recently did. I was in Comox and I had this was actually one of the funnest groups I've ever been with. They're an amazing group of people. And there were two women in this bravery seminar on walkers. One was recovering from a broken hip, and I'm not sure about the other one. And one of them had a tiny little dog. So dog was kind of scared of the wheels. We found a way. It's bravery seminar. We found a way. And these women were such good sports. Like, it was so much fun. You can still laugh if you're on a walker. That's the only requirement here.
I think that's I think that's a big key to it. You have to be a good sport,
Yes.
and you have to have a sense of humor that allows you to think of those silly things.
Yes. One of these women, Ruth, hi Ruth, is on a walker. She's competing in obedience with a border collie rescue that she got. So she has taught this dog heel position on her walker. So, and she was asking me, how do I fix it? Like when I get rid of my walker. And my answer was, I have no idea, Ruth. I don't even know how you taught this. Like, what you have is unbelievable. I don't know I could do this. And she had this dog in perfect heel position with the wheels of her walker. How do you teach that?
Did she tell you how she taught it?
Yes, but it was perfect position of like holding a stunning heel position as she turned and all the rest of it. Like the dog didn't go wide. He stayed in that exact position on her walker, which is really,
Impressive.
really impressive. And because it's something we don't teach, would have really required some thinking outside of the box.
Yeah.
And it goes back to again, if you really want it, you will find a way. And if you don't, you will find an excuse. I can't teach him to heal. I've broken my hip.
Yeah.
Versus, I will. And now he's healing to my walker. Like, that's unbelievable.
Because competing is important to her, or training anyway, is important to her. So she found a way to do it.
Exactly. So this is so important, I think, for everything in life. Like when a solution is presented to a person and they're like, oh, but it's because they don't want to.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, they'd find a way.
Yeah.
And yes, there are scenarios, like some scenarios are incredibly difficult to get to. Let's go to Pippa with sheep herding. When I first started herding Pippa, there was really no one on the island. There was one lady in North Saanich that was helping me with Pippa. And she helped me get her started, but there were limitations. And I knew nothing about sheep, but I could see the difficulties that were being created, even though the lessons I were getting were moving me forward, if that makes sense what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
trying to keep this clean and polite.
Mm.
So issues were being built, but I was moving forwards. Only I'm brand new in sheep, so I didn't know how to not create those issues, but I knew what was happening. So I may have been green, but I could see where this was going. And it wasn't in a direction that would sustain over a long period of time. I inquired, like off the island, for people that could help me. I did my homework and I found my person, and my person was Karen. And I drove to close to Bend, Oregon once a month and worked with her for several days for a long, long time. And Karen taught me how to get Pippa started. Then Derek Fisher moved closer and he was in Washington, so across the border. Then I was able to go to Derek and he was much, much closer. So Derek helped me then. And then he moved away and then back to Karen I went. Again, find a way. Not everyone's going to be able to do that, but that was my vacation time and saved up my money and off I went. And I'm so glad I did because I learned so much from those two people, not just about sheep herding, but about dogs in general and how they respond to pressure. And not pressure as in someone's being mean to them, but as in how they respond to what they feel from the environment.
Okay.
It was amazing. Like it really transformed me as a dog trainer, period, let alone just learning my sheep.
Hmm. Yeah. Bottom line, do your research, put the effort in, find a way to make it work.
Find a way. So then I now am getting these great lessons, but the only access I had to sheep was an hour drive each way. So 2 hours just to get there to go do my little bit of work with Pippa on sheep. And that's just not sustainable because my weeks are super busy. So I was able to squeeze it in like once a week to go do sheep work. Well, no one's moving forward working once a week. So I had to think outside the box like, I need sheep. How can I get sheep? I have a property here not designed for sheep. So I found somebody in the community who would rent me a field, and I got my first 4 sheep and worked on those until they were tamer than most of the dogs I work with. Then got my next 4, worked with those until they were too tame, and kept on going. Then from there, I managed to find a 10-acre field, and that's where I am now with all of my sheep. So I don't have land for sheep. Where I live is incredibly expensive, so I cannot afford to buy land for sheep. So I rented it.
Yep.
There's always a way. So I don't have the time to drive, but I am able to pay that bit of money and get my field. And then I can sell my lamb meat to pay off for my field rental. So there's always a way to make it sustainable if you want it bad enough.
Yep. You just got to figure out how to make it work.
So what have you done? What did you want bad enough that you found a way?
Oh, I wanted Sizzle to be a little more stable, and
And
that entailed a lot of trips out to the island.
yep,
And that's a like ferry included. That's a 16-hour day for me, one way.
yep,
So I'm certainly not doing that for a weekend trip, but I made a lot of effort to work my holidays around that so that I could go out and train with you and work with what I had, and now I've got a pretty cool dog.
yeah,
But yeah, it, it was something I didn't want to have to live with for the rest of my life. It was important to me to make her life better and to make my life better.
yep.
And that's what we needed to do to get there. So we
With
did it.
with Harry in his work, I have an issue I need to fix, and I've been trying to fix it locally and not succeeding. So I found a person from Germany who can help me, and he's been flying here to help me fix my issue with Harry. And I obviously don't have the money to pay for him to come here on my own. So some other friends have come in with me and we're working our dogs to pay for his flight. So again, there's always a way. And there's always someone who can help you if
Yeah.
you're willing to look outside of the box and think of a way you can make it happen.
Yeah. And talk to people, because people have ideas that you would never have thought of, or connections that you wouldn't expect them to have. And you can go a long way just by asking. Like, I mean, you might get nothing, but you might get some really good information. Never hurts to ask.
It's thinking outside the box. So we're presented with it one way, and that one way isn't working. So how can you make it work?
Yep.
And then that's what you have to wrap your head around. Like, if you want it bad enough, there's almost always a way of just thinking outside the box of different ways that you can get it.
Yep.
What
Yep.
other things have you and I been determined pigs on?
I bought a house by myself.
Yeah.
That was never going to happen. It was my sister that basically made a list of things I needed to do. Now I have a house on my own. But it was putting my mind to it once I knew the steps that needed to be taken, and get on with it.
Brian and I got our first house by living in a friend's unfinished basement in Calgary for 6 months with all of our dogs.
Wow.
6 months. And just imagine what a saint that friend was for having the two of us there in
With
her
all of the dogs.
basement with all of our dogs and just opening up her house like, "Thank you, Mindy.
Yeah.
You're the best, Mindy." Mindy Lamont. She she saved us, like, she got us in our first house. And she was clever enough to tell us all of the steps that we needed to do to be able to come up with the down payment and other such stuff too.
Yep.
So, not only did she offer us lodging in her house for free, but gave us the steps so we would have the right down payment to buy our first house, and we did at age 22. We bought our first house.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was an hour commute from Calgary. It was in Crossfield, Alberta. And it was a cute little house, still love that house, and it was our very first house. It was a very good investment and purchase, and we were just 22, like, we had no money. We had no money, but we had lots of dogs.
That's why you had no money.
Exactly. It's 'cause it all went into dog food. Oh, dear. I had a lot of dogs already. I had Gibson Golden Retriever. Hilda Irish Terrier was soon to be after that. I think we had Haley Malinois. Did we have Haley? I don't know. Charlie Airedale. Gosh, we had a lot of dogs. Rita Pitbull. We had a
Cool.
lot of freaking dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw a meme once that said, "How do you become a millionaire as a dog owner?
Sell their poo.
Start out as a billionaire."
Cheers to that.
Yeah. So true. Mhm.
Oh, dear. All right, what other stuff have we both done? One of my favorite things now is working with my elderly clients and kind of telling them, like, this is how I would do it. And they're coming with their broken knees, their mangled hips, or whatever else. Like, I can't bend down on the ground. So, okay, so how are you going to do this? This is what you need to do. How are you going to do it? And they will always come up with a solution if they want to. You know, two of my most favorite clients that I've had in the recent past were 84 years old with a working line Rottweiler with substantial dog reactivity and medical issues that affected balance, things like that. So there were some struggles that came with this. 84 years old with a working Rottweiler, 1 year old. So here they come, and I met them. I loved them right away and had a very honest conversation about how this realistically wasn't going to work. But I was game to try if they were game to try. And I gave them their homework. I had my homework for the week. We were going to meet Thursday of that week and see where we were all at. So I'm willing to dive in if they are. So on Thursday, after I'd given them their homework and told them the difficulties that I foresaw being an issue retraining this dog, they came back and said, "We've thought about all the difficulties and these are our solutions." All right, then
Wow.
off we go. Yeah. Like here, like, and I gave like the medical issue here is insurmountable. I cannot help you past this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you need to fix the medical issue.
Yeah.
And obviously they can't because it's medical. So they found another way and presented it to me. It's like, okay, well done, people. Off we go. And I'm happy to say, too, that dog is now living in complete harmony with them, and their friends can now go over to their house again. they,
Win-win.
they did all of their homework, and parts of it were really challenging for all of us, I'm going to say. But when you want it bad enough, you find a way. And they did. They did. And
Uh,
they just had this determination of, I think, that people from that generation only can possess. All of us that are younger than that are softer than they were. Like, they were, we're going to make this work. She's our dog. And
yeah.
they did. I have so much admiration for those two people. They were just absolutely remarkable to work with. Such cool people. And they did it like with a dog that most 20-year-olds probably couldn't handle. They did it.
Crazy.
I know.
A little
But
bit of
that's just
little bit of stubbornness gets you a long way, though.
steely determination of don't tell me I can't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you go, people. You do it. I
Yeah.
ended up loving that dog too, like absolutely loving that dog. And we were able to put supports in place. So, like, if you're determined enough, there is a way. They can't give her the off leash hikes she needs, but we found someone that can. Like, there's always a way around it if you want it bad enough.
Yeah. You just have to stop yourself from saying that's not going to work or I can't. Take that out of your vocabulary and start
I'm the
looking for.
worst for that. I am the worst. I always dismiss an idea right off the bat, but then it brews in my brain
Yep.
and starts to ferment. And then I realize, yeah, I can do this. But I always reject any idea that isn't mine right off the start. I don't know why. I think my brain just needs time to adapt to it. So I am that person, but I know myself well enough now to take back those words and then still consider it and think around it.
Yeah. You'll revisit
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
suggestion. Yeah. I can be that way as well. I think it depends who it's coming from too. Because sometimes I'm just like, I'm not listening to you.
Oh, I agree. I heard something today.
And
Never
it's about it.
accept criticism from someone whose opinion you wouldn't seek.
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
That makes
isn't that
sense.
true?
Yep.
Like, if I wouldn't value your opinion and ask for you to help me solve a problem, why the hell do I care
Yep.
what you think of my outcome? It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You mean nothing to me, Jilly Brown.
The truth comes out.
Cheers. I'm having another swig on that. What are you drinking on this cold Calgary day?
God, I should be drinking something hot. I'm actually finishing a Coke. I don't even have any alcohol in it.
Oh, I'm sad to hear this, Joe.
I know.
I'm going to say another thing. I've always struggled with Harry's retrieve.
Yes, you have.
He's as fast as a sloth. So I have a Malinois that's slow on his retrieve. It's very, very sad. So I've gotten him faster and faster and faster, and we're getting there. Like, we're getting there. We've done good. And I've tried, I mean, he's 4 now, so many years worth of hundreds of different reps because I have the picture in my head of what I want, and we're just going to keep pushing towards it and pushing towards it. And I'm happy with our slow movement forwards. And there's been probably 15 times now where I've gotten the speed I want. So at least now I can see it's even possible.
Yep.
And now I just need to get that more and more and more. So I had a seminar person here this weekend, and by God, did she not get me a faster recall? She said, first fix it on the recall, then work on it in the retrieve. And she did it. I can see what she's just given me. So
Wow.
with all the stuff I've been doing, it's been me running, me throwing a ball, me creating like drive towards a ball that's on the ground as he's coming back, all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that. And it's the movement of the stuff has been slowing him down.
Hmm.
Or the movement of me has been slowing him down. So with me standing still and just jumping at the last minute and having it placed on the ground in between my legs, he's coming faster.
Interesting.
Go figure, right? Like, this doesn't really make sense in my head, but whatever, he's faster.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but if it works, who cares?
Thanks, man. Like, thank you, Michaela. He's faster. Michaela Buskova. I think I said her name right. Brilliant, brilliant dog trainer from Ontario. You should all have her out for a seminar. She did both CKC and IGP at my place. She was fantastic. And she's kind with people and loves dogs. So well done, Michaela. You were absolutely fantastic. Thank you for all of your help. And my dog's faster.
Most
So,
importantly.
so again, never give up. Like, keep moving towards it. Like, I'm happy with Harry's progress along the way. So it's not that I'm disappointed every time he comes in of like, oh, he's so slow. I'm not like that. But I'm getting him faster and faster and faster. And just keep asking until you find a way. And I have hope. I think she gave me the way.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But no excuses. Make him faster. Just keep going
Yeah.
until you get what you need. Just keep going. So,
And
yeah.
what
What were you going to
else?
say?
I've forgotten already. Sometimes, like it sounds like you just had to tweak things. Sometimes you have to completely change directions too.
Yes.
But again, look for a way to make it happen.
Well, Alison just got told that with her little poodle that she needs to go back to her foundation healing.
Mm-hmm.
And her response, whatever I need to do, I'll do it.
Yep.
Exactly. That's just the way it's done.
Yep.
If you want it bad enough, there's no excuses. Just get it done.
Good answer, Allison.
Yeah. And we know she will, like without a doubt. And I also know she would be 100% fine being told that
Yeah.
because she's not scared of work. Like, she loves work.
Yep.
It's the journey. It's the journey that counts. So long as you know you can get there. Or so long as there's hope of getting there.
Yeah, it can be pretty discouraging at times because sometimes it does feel like there's no hope of getting there.
Oh, it does. I agree. I agree.
But that's when you change directions and try something else.
Yeah. Well, and the little poodle has been shut down in our class for 2 weeks. And just the other dogs there were so terrifying to her. She's just a teeny tiny little thing and lives with little dogs. And so some of the big, stronger characters in that class were just too much for her. So she would just freeze in the middle of the room and say, go ahead, make me. Which of course never happened. So she just stood there and froze. So there was 2 weeks of that. So we all thought, rather than just saying, "Oh, you need a new poodle, Allison," we thought creatively and fixed it once again. So little poodle moved into my house for a week.
Around Johnny and Harry.
Yes, exactly.
All of a sudden, the dogs in class are nothing.
I know. That's what I said to her. After living with Harry, everything's everything's easy. So she would sit on the couch and she snarked at Johnny, and I told her, "Good girl, you tell him." And then she was on the couch and she snarked at Harry, and I told her, "Good girl, you tell him." And then poor blind Rupert walked into her and she snarked at Rupert. It was like, "You are a horrid poodle. You're going to hell." I didn't quite tell her that, but I was thinking that. But after living here with my guys, now class is easy. So today she came to day school and I sent them a video of her running around outside playing with these dogs she'd never met before, a big German Shepherd, a Golden Retriever. Her besties were a little Jack Russell and a little mini American. But she was also playing with the big German Shepherd, who's a big galumph because he's just a young thing, so he sometimes forgets the size of his body. And there she is, barking at their ankles as they're running away. So there's always a way. Never give up. You can always create what you need. It's just thinking outside of the box.
Yep.
And this little dog just needed more experiences where she was safe to have those experiences, and needed her confidence built and permission to be a little bit naughty if she was feeling scared.
Yep. Yep. Sometimes it's hard to get your head around that. I know I used to be really bad for whenever I would run into an issue, I would immediately think that I was never going to fix it. This this particular dog's career is done. And it would be silly things like I didn't have a fast enough recall or I didn't have a quick enough drop on my down signal. Like they weren't anything huge,
Yep.
but that was where my mind went. And
Huge in your head.
yeah, but yeah, I wasn't someone that left training thinking, okay, so I need to try this and this, and then we're going to do this and this. I'd be like, we're done. Never going to fix that. So you need people around you that counteract that.
There's one woman locally who is a single mom with many children. Most of them are grown up now. But her youngest son wanted to go somewhere for school. It was a school trip. And she doesn't have the money. So she pimped him out on the community chat of any yard work you need done, any dogs you need walk, any chickens you need cleaned out. Let me know that my kid needs to go to this place for his school, and he has to save up this much money. And he did it all. He got all of his money.
Nice.
And once again, like, she doesn't have the money to send him,
Yeah. So
but
figure out a way to make it work, make it
neither
happen.
of them said no. And they didn't do the normal of a GoFundMe or a bottle drive.
Yeah.
She put him to work, and he got all of his money that he needed. And it was a big sum, especially for a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was over $5,000. Like, it was a lot.
Wow.
And he got it all. Isn't that fantastic?
Wow.
But no victim mode. Let's go get you this money. You want to go there? Let's find a way. Let's go do
Yep.
it. I love that.
That's cool. Huh.
What other motivating things do we have?
Think of all the yard work you could have gotten done.
See, I'm the sucker. I just donated money at the end with a rain check.
Lord.
The difficulty for me with stuff like that is I'm never here to have it done.
True. True, true,
Um,
true. Other things. Hmm. I don't know.
Prada.
I've
Prada,
just
have you
gotten
had any big challenges? Oh, I remember when you were trying to breed Prada, you had plenty of challenges.
when I was trying to breed Punch, I had plenty of challenges too.
Yeah.
But yes, Prada, there was all sorts of issues getting that arranged, and then she didn't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Now we're back. Now we're back searching.
Oh goodness, getting Harry here.
Yes,
When I got puppy Harry, it was the beginning of COVID lockdown, so the world had literally just stopped, and I had to get my dog from Eastern USA to Western Canada across a border, and the borders were all closed.
oh,
But at
that
that
was
moment in time, truck drivers and police were allowed over borders. And in the network of dog people, I think we had a cop and a truck driver that were willing to take him over. So he had his first leg from like the breeder to a friend in New York. Then he stayed there. Then from New York, he came across the border with, I think, I can't remember if it was a truck driver or the cop, I don't know. But he went across the border with one of them. Then he made it to, it was actually Michaela's house. And then Michaela took him to the airport, and then the airport made her go and pick him back up again. Then the next day, he made it to the airport again. And at that point in time, there were no flights to get him to Victoria, where I live, none, or Vancouver, or I couldn't get him here to Western Canada. So I remember talking like what am I going to do? Like I can't get him here. They can't get him here for 2 weeks, and even then it's a maybe. So no one's going to hold on to this monstrous Malinois puppy for 2 weeks. So I looked to see could I get him to Calgary, and I could. So then I sent Jill a message, I'm coming to Calgary to visit. And I did. I flew to Calgary. Harry flew to Calgary. I stayed with Jill overnight. Then Harry and I flew home, but Harry missed his flight. So Harry was supposed to arrive at the beginning of our visit, and he arrived at the end, which was perfect because we had a nice, enjoyable visit without Harry.
we did. Yes.
The last one.
Yep. Exactly. Um,
And then Harry arrived at the airport literally like moments before I had to run through security and catch my plane. But we did it. So, and at that moment in time, like it took an entire team of people to get Harry to me. And I'm
yeah.
so grateful for all of them. And it took thinking outside of the box on my part because I couldn't even get him to Victoria. I had to go to Calgary. But think outside the box, find a way.
Yep. It's crazy. And a lot of times when it's in a like a push comes to shove, when you're fighting the time, then things start to fall into place. You really start to panic and look for a way to make things happen, and they do a good portion of the time.
Yeah, you have to be willing to think outside the box.
Yep.
Oh, Brian made Mo squeak. What's
I,
he doing to his little dog?
I
Hang on.
thought you had a bird in there.
What are you doing, Brian? I think he's trying to cut her toenails. No wonder she's crying. He's never done it before.
Oh, yes. So don't make Brian sound like he's never trimmed a toenail before.
Not a chihuahua nail. A big, thick, clumpy German Shepherd nail, yes. 10 years ago when he had vision.
Oh, do you stop being so mean to him?
We're both getting older, Jill. Leave my chihuahua alone. Mo! Mo, he's killing you. Oh, her gremlin face.
Poor
She's
Mo.
going to climb over his shoulder and break a leg
She
or
would
bite him on the nose. Both are possibilities. Mo, there's always a way. Don't make an excuse.
exactly. If you want it to happen, you make it happen.
Exactly. Blood will make him stop, Mo.
Ay, ay.
Poor Mo.
Hmm,
Mm, my wine is delicious.
I can hear.
Yes.
I've had many challenges. I just can't think of them. I think I have them on a routine basis, not necessarily with my dogs, but I live alone, so I'm always having to figure out how things are going to work.
Well, and I'm flipping this around right now of if you want to, you'll always find a way. My board and train right now is that person, which is why he's here. If he wants to do something, he does it. And he wanted me just to be along for the merry ride, only realized I might not be that person. It's more like living with a hornet. He may be bigger than me and stronger than me, but I can still make an impact.
Wait, to
Um,
clarify, you're talking about the dog, not the dog's owner.
talking about the dog, the very strong dog. He's used to, he sets his eyes on something or his sight on something, and he's just going to get it, whatever it may be. So today I was letting him out of his crate, and he's new to me, so he needs to come out, and I have to get his collar and put a leash on, that kind of thing, because I don't know him well. And he said no, like he was going to blow past me to get out, and he was just going to take me out in the process of blowing past me. Didn't work so well. And yes, he could have just knocked me flat, and he was trying to, but I had a flexi leash in my hand. So as he came at me, he kind of got the flat of it on the blunt of his nose, like a ping pong paddle, and he stopped dead. But there's no way this dog seems to always have just been able to get his way because he's determined enough. And I'm not having a dog knock me flat to get
Yeah.
out the car. And that was his intention. So yeah, he's a dog that doesn't come up with excuses. He just does it. He finds a way. Only he may have met his match with me. I'm on day 2 with him right now. Day 1, he was going to go eat my duck and then realized it's my duck and I'll guard my duck. And day 2, he got out the crate nice. And I do believe by day 3, I'm going to have a gentleman. I actually really like this dog now. I'm surprised. I didn't think I would because he's a bit of a doughhead. But I think for him, he's just been such a impetuous dog that just through force and determination, he's managed to always get his way.
Hmm.
And I think I'm the first one that said to him, no, in a way that he was able to hear, because normally he just does it with speed and muscle and manages to succeed. Only now his speed and muscle isn't working so well.
Hmm.
It's interesting. It's very interesting working with him. But he is another strong character that is just determined to think outside the box to get his way.
Wow. You're the first person he understood.
I think so. It's a little soon yet to confirm this. I might be regretting these words by the time this goes and gets published,
Huh.
but I believe so, yes.
Huh.
Yes. But I mean, he is seriously determined. Like, this is not a normal naughty dog. This is a dog that has been so drugged on trazodone to make him livable.
Wow.
And can we talk about that?
Sure.
It's so wrong. I'm not blaming the owner. I get it. I get it. But when did, like, literally putting them on a tranquilizer become an acceptable way of living with a dog?
Well, I think it's the same with dogs and kids. I was thinking the other day, why do we have such a huge number of children being medicated nowadays?
Not on trazodone, though.
Well, not necessarily trazodone, but multiple different medications for anxiety or ADHD or whatever. But my My thought is it's just the easy way out. Like back
Yeah.
when I was a kid, that wasn't available. You dealt with it. And back when I was a kid, if you had a bad dog, you dealt with it. Now, I don't know. It just seems like medicating is an easy answer.
I heard of something this week that I swore I wasn't going to tell you about until we did a podcast because I wanted to hear your reaction live.
Mhm.
It was about dogs being taught to go on place in a down position, and it's called a double down, and I've never heard of this before. Do you know what a double down is?
Mm, no, I don't think so.
With an electric collar, they are forced to keep their head on the bed. They're not allowed to lift their head from the down position. And they're taught to do that for like hours.
So they can't even lift their head up?
Correct.
Wow.
Did you know about this?
No, and I didn't think that place for an hour or hour and a half could get any worse, but apparently it can.
It just did. It just did. And the trainers doing it are saying that it's being used for relaxation and to teach them Zen.
Yeah, that's not teaching them anything other than now I can't even move my head or I get corrected for it.
Yeah. Like,
Wow.
didn't we move away from children being taught to stand in the corner and not move in a classroom?
Right?
But now we do it for dogs for hours on end, and they're not even allowed to move their head.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's
So if you see photos of a dog doing place with a dog trainer and its head is flat on the bed, now you know what they're doing. I had no idea.
yeah, I hadn't heard of that.
So if you see dogs' heads lying flat on a bed, speak up. Like, this is wrong. This is not okay. This is not dog training.
Well, it's
This
not,
is just squashing the life out of a dog.
and that's not, yeah, wow. That's not Zen at all.
It's
If
not
it-
Zen.
So if it
That's
is,
crushing the soul.
let's say it is Zen and the dog is totally relaxed and it falls asleep and then it wakes up and lifts its
I
head.
know. I know.
Like, yeah, that's wow.
I
Wow.
know. It's Harry's like rolling around on the floor, kicking his legs up in the air and flicking cushions at me. I'll take that any day.
Yeah. Wow. That's really sad.
I'm
I had
glad you
not
had the same response as I did. I think I was a bit angrier than you.
I had well, I'm kind of flabbergasted. Like
Isn't that
it
awful?
just makes zero sense to me.
It's cruel. It's absolutely cruel.
Well,
It's wrong. It shouldn't be allowed.
maybe that's the whole point. They're doing this so that people will say that's horrible. You should never do that. It's not That's cruel. It shouldn't be allowed. So now all of a sudden, just in
Place is
quotation.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the people doing this is almost like a cult. They believe they're doing this right thing. Of more rules will teach them Zen. And no, more rules will make them more crazy and affect their health with immune disorder diseases. Like, you can't put this much stress on a dog.
Wow.
It's wrong. Like, you cannot do this. This level of stress must creep out somewhere. And it's going to come out in the form of something like chewing themselves or autoimmune disease. I firmly believe that this is going to sneak up elsewhere because you cannot put this level of stress on a person or a dog.
And not expect it to blow out somewhere.
Yep. Yep. Or so it's either going to come out in behavior, the dog's going to start biting something else it didn't used to bite,
Yeah.
or it's going to start chewing itself, or it's going to get autoimmune disease. That's my prediction. This just can't be. Like, you cannot treat dogs this way.
Wow.
And there may be some breeds you can get away with this with, because I think some of the pit bulls are more resilient. Not that it should be done with them, but I think they are more resilient. But do this with a herding breed or a toy dog, you're putting that dog in the grave.
Wow.
Maybe it's a bit dramatic, but I think you would though.
Well,
If you had
regardless of
like if you had a border collie in or an Australian shepherd in with a behavior problem and you did this with them, they're leaving with either much bigger behavior problems or autoimmune disease that's going to start developing. That's my belief.
well, I don't know. It's just sad, regardless of the breed.
It's terrible. So yes, dogs with place with their heads flat on the bed, not cool.
Unreal.
Unreal. Like that's abusive. It's not okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So if you're seeing that, don't go to that trainer. Instead, find one who'll take your dog to the forest, the beach, and still make them behave.
yeah.
Training doesn't need to be like that. Like we can still enjoy our dogs. That's the purpose of this. Rehab doesn't need to look like that. Like the dog I'm talking about that is a handful on so much trazodone. Today, he had a walk in a public forest, and then he had like 5 or 6 sessions on my property. The first 2 were on a flexi leash until I got to know him a little bit better, and then he was off leash with me out there. Like, this is his training beginning. So we're working on soft little things to start with, like, don't bowl me over when you want out of your crate, and don't eat my ducks.
Yeah.
And I'm only working on don't eat my ducks because that follows through to northern neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
And today, when a cyclist went past, he was super. I was so proud of him. And when dogs went past, he didn't bark or lunge or anything. He stood still on a loose leash. I was so proud of him, but it might be beginner's luck, so I'm scared to say anything about that just yet.
Yeah.
But that was his day. So, yes, he got a correction for trying to bowl me over. But he also had like 2 hours of really relaxing, fun outlets where he was allowed to be a dog.
Yeah.
I haven't even done down or place or anything like that with him. I brushed him today. So I kind of began on a little bit of handling. I haven't done loose leash with him yet because he's just too wild. There's no point. It's just going to be a fight for both of us and we'll hate each other. So we've just gotten to know each other and enjoy each other. And I've stopped, like, attempted to begin working on the really, really, really bad behaviors that are dangerous for him. But there's no place. That's not how I'm going to train him. He needs to have an outlet and he needs to become my friend and he needs to learn to want to make me happy
I mean, I think we
without
said,
sounding arrogant as I say that. But that's the ultimate with a dog is he has to learn that pleasing me matters.
yeah.
I mean, it sounds wrong when you say it like that, but he was really happy today when he pleased me.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of cute. Like he runs to me and his tail's wiggling and he's got this earnest look on his face like, did I do good?
Well, what I don't understand is these trainers that are putting all their stock in place, spending all your time teaching a dog place, you're just going to get back a dog that the only time you can live with them is when they're on place because they haven't they haven't worked to get control or good behavior in all of the other areas.
I went once and worked with Tyler Muto many, many years ago. Tyler's a super dog trainer from Buffalo, New York. And Tyler had said to me, like, the purpose of place was about controlling a dog's feet. So if he can control the feet on a bed, but he wasn't making them do it down, they just had to stay on the cot. If he could control the feet on the cot, out on a walk, he could get them to jump on a fire hydrant if a dog's going past and could still control their feet there. So he was teaching it more as stay on the object.
Okay.
And that to me made sense. And to me, my equivalent of that was I too control a dog's feet, but I do it through toenails. and Tyler had done it through place. But we both had the same end objective, but got there completely different ways. So his made total sense to me, the way he was teaching place. And I still agree with what he was doing. And looking back, like he would make them, or some of his staff would make them sit on a little cot. So it was quite little. So
Yeah.
they had to kind of focus to stay on there. But they're talking like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's not a lifestyle.
no.
Like if you want a dog that all it's gonna do is be on a cot because or on place because that's the only time it is well behaved, then don't have a dog. Get a
Then
statue.
then it's then it's not well behaved.
Yeah.
Yeah. A hamster in a cage has a better life.
Yep. I do agree.
Yeah. I was marveling at the different life that my board and trains live to these poor dogs that are doing this. Like, this isn't okay. So that was my one bad boy this week. Then I have a Mexican rescue here. Katie, it's Muddy the second, only he's like 1/10 Muddy, but he is Muddy's milder younger brother. Only he's black. I love this dog already because he reminds me of Muddy, and Muddy is one of my most favorite dogs. He's from India, and I love this dog. And I believe I love Muddy so much because Muddy had been so misunderstood by people.
Yeah.
And I was the first one who got him. So Muddy and I have had a long-term love affair with each other. He squeals when he sees me. And this dog is going to be Muddy the second. I can tell already. So he's actually, I don't think he's misunderstood. I think his mum might get him. I think she gets him, but he's a complex character, so she hasn't been able to move him in the right direction. But he's understood and loved. She just can't get him further than where he's at.
Okay.
And he's actually funny because I was saying to my people, this is my easiest board and train right now. And he was by far the naughtiest. And they're looking at me like, oh. but and maybe he's not my easiest. Maybe he's my favorite because I know where this is going with this dog. And I can't wait because I love this kind of dog more than anything else.
Yep.
So that's Muddy the second. And then my third one is a wonderful, she's rather angry this week, older German Shepherd bitch.
Hmm.
I'm going to say she's rather angry, but it's day 2. Don't blame her. Who the hell am I? Why have I put her in a crate? Her forest walks aren't long enough. She'd like more off-leash time, please.
She'll get it.
She'll get it. She'll get it. Well, she's actually had a fair bit, but because all 3 of them can't go together yet, my 8-hour day is divided by 3. Once the 3 of them can go together, that 8 hours is theirs. So
Right.
then they'll have a whole lot more once they can get along, if they can get along.
I have faith.
I have faith too. I think my bad boy and Muddy the second will be the first to get along. I think I'll be much more careful adding German Shepherd Girly into it. Which is odd to say because being a girl, she should love the 2 boys. But so far, I'm not sure she loves anything other than her dinner.
Girls can be a little bit. Well, they don't call them bitches for nothing.
Well, and I can relate to her. I love my dinner too.
I
Have you
don't.
trained your dogs this week?
I have.
Good for you.
I have. Well, it's hard not to with Prada now because she thinks the broad jump's the best thing ever.
I trained Pippa. Pippa was in the seminar for her 1 turn.
Good,
And
good.
I got help fixing my about turns that were good that then broke that are good again.
Good.
So that was fun.
Good, good.
And I have since trained Harry on his recall because it's kind of fun now. He's running fast. How
Nice.
long till he takes out my knee?
Depends. I guess it depends on how fast you want him coming in.
Well, I want him full speed
Oh,
without the broken knee.
well, let me know how that works for you.
Well, always be careful of what you ask for.
Exactly.
Because is this why he's been coming in slow? Because he's been careful not to break mummy.
Probably. I seem to remember a young Johnny being less
I-
than careful about coming in.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm older now.
Yeah,
If you want it, don't make excuses.
exactly. I have done articles. I have done a bunch of broad jumping. I have done healing. Even old girl Sizzle is back to doing articles
Aw, super.
and understanding it.
Aw.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is Sizzle going to get entered?
Maybe. Now she can jump low heights, so I don't have to worry about that so much. She probably still would do her regular height, but she's a little bit uncoordinated at the best of times, so I don't really want to ask that of 11 and a half year old girl.
Well, thank you for talking to me, Julie.
Thank you, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Don't yawn as you go.
Sorry,
That's terrible.
it's been a long, cold day.
I'm pleased to report that Patrick has pooped. He's alive and well
Yay.
and continues to be a house lamb and ran away from his sheep field to follow a hiker with their dog
Did he think it was
because,
you?
because he believes that dogs are his people, not sheep.
Well, tends to happen when you live with a house full of dogs.
Oh, dear. Yes.
I think that happens with every one of your bottle lambs.
I know. He goes every other day. Today he was a good flock sheep, which means tomorrow he'll run away. And they sent me a photo of him when he got returned to the house. And honestly, I didn't know a lamb could smile. I'll send you the photo, Jill. It's adorable.
He was so proud of himself.
I think he was just so happy to be back in someone's arms. Thank you, Jilly. Good night.
Talk to you later.
Bye.